Welcome back, my dear friends. In 1930, the impossible happened. The world's highest scientific honor, the Nobel Prize in Physics, was awarded to Sir C V Raman. For the first time in history, an ancient scientist stood at the center of the global science. Newspapers celebrated, institutions applauded, and the world took notice. But for Raman, the Nobel Prize was never the destination. It was merely a pause, a moment before the work continued. To many, the Nobel Prize is the end of journey. But for Raman, it was a responsibility. He understood something deeply. Recognition fades, medals gather dust, but values always shape generations. Raman did not allow fame to change his purpose. Instead, he used it to amplify his voice, a voice that carried a powerful message. India must build its own scientific future, not by copying the West or by seeking approval, but by trusting its own intellect. He was a man of principles. Raman was admired and sometimes criticized for being fiercely principled. He believed curiosity is more important than certificates. He felt degrees measure memory and curiosity measures potential. He often challenged rigid education systems that rewarded obedience over thinking. He urges students to ask why, not just how. Raman refused positions that compromised his independence. He spoke to his mind, even when it made him unpopular. He believed that a scientist without self respect becomes a technician, not a thinker. Truth does not bow to authority, whether it was colonial mindset or academic hierarchy. Raman remained unapologetically honest, building institutions, not just reputation. After his Nobel Prize, Raman could have settled into comfort. He could have moved abroad and lived a life of ease, could choose something harder, but he chose to build. Raman played a key role in shaping India's scientific institutions, not with luxury, but with discipline. He believed that infrastructure matters, but attitude matters more. He demanded excellence, expected rigor, and above all, he expected integrity. Many found him strict, some found him difficult, but none doubted his devotion to science. Rama's greatest influence was not his discovery, it was his example. He showed students that you can come from modest beginnings, work with limited resources, can stand alone and still stand right. He inspired generations not by perfection, but by perseverance, not by loud motivation, but by quiet conviction. In today's world of instant success and constant comparison, Raman's life feels almost uncomfortable. He teaches us things, but we don't always want to hear. That is, you don't need perfect conditions. Waiting for the right time is often just fear in disguise. You don't need approval. If your work is honest, recognition will follow eventually. You need persistence, not talent alone, nor luck alone, only persistence. Day after day, failure after failure. Without applause, if one is struggling right now, if work feels invisible and efforts go unnoticed, remember this story. Raman questioned textbooks, faced rejections, worked in isolation, and yet he changed the way the world understands light. Our journey may not end with a Nobel Prize, but it can still change our lives. Every year on 20th February, India celebrates National Science Day, not to honor a discovery alone, but to honor a mindset that says ask boldly, work honestly, stand firmly. Raman's legacy is not frozen in history. It lives in every curious mind that refuses to settle. C.V. Raman proved something timeless. Greatness begins quietly, it grows painfully, and it shines eternally. This was not just a story about light, it was a story about courage, curiosity, and believing in self. And remember, the world does not need more followers of success, it needs more listeners of truth. Thank you for being with us and listening. We'll come back with another personality soon.